Greetings, loyal prey. I apologize for my absence. I was sick the past few days. Because, yes, even werewolves can get sick. So, to make up for my absence, I'm going to be uploading not one, not two, but 3 reaction videos for today to hopefully make up for it. And for today, those 2 I'm going to be reacting to. One, for this video, will be from our beloved friend, Mr. Nightmare. Oh, yes, he returns once again. And in this video, today, we're going to be taking a look at the 4 bone-chilling true Halloween stories. Couldn't be a better time if you ask me. So, without further ado, let's get it on. Halloween horror stories. Bring it on. Story number 1.
My group of friends and I went to a local county haunted house attraction. It was by the edge of town. It opened every October of every year. It sat right by the woods appropriately and had 3 attractions: the main haunted house, a corn maze, and a haunted trail through the woods.
Sounds like my kind of Friday night.
Rod, James, and Bud. That's not his real name, that's just his nickname.
Oh, really?
We started with the haunted house, which was decently high quality and had a few good scares. Then we made our way to the corn maze.
Freaking
Started
fleas.
out kind of slow, just a lot of turns through the corn we'd have to make. But then the scary antics began. A guy dressed as a freaky scarecrow man emerged from the corn and screamed at us, causing us to scream as well.
Yeah.
He started to chase after us. And
Although if I were in that situation, it wouldn't be as much of a scream as much as a growl or a
even though
bark.
it's just a paid actor, you have this innate fear of something chasing after
And you know why.
You just feel like you have to run away. Somehow, through the thrill of running away through the corn, I lost all of my friends. It seemed like all
Well,
of us
good
were
job there,
for
buddy.
ourselves.
You done messed
I
up.
lost the scarecrow man, though, and got back to the trail between the crops. This is where the nightmare began. I called and yelled and screamed for my friends as I made wrong turn after wrong turn.
You keep messing up, man.
In fact, it seemed there were no other visitors in sight.
Freaking
I had to
earbuds
finish
in
the
there.
maze by
Good
myself.
and
What choice
tight.
did I have? I walked and walked for what felt like 20 minutes, and I heard bustling in the corn in front of me.
Oh, really?
I slowed my pace and kind of tiptoed past the noise, but it was pointless.
That sound effect sounds
Something
almost
reached
pretty
out from the
real.
corner
Almost
and
like
grabbed
someone's
my
gonna
wrist
sneak
and
up behind me
squeezed
and
it
go,
tight.
boo!
I actually cried out in pain and yelled, "Stop, you're hurting me." I was actually in shock how hard this paid actor was squeezing my wrist. Then he tried pulling me into the crops. I didn't see who it was. I just saw his hand and arm, covered by a black coat sleeve and black glove. I yanked myself out from the grip and backed away as the actor came out from the crops into the path. He was wearing a heavy winter coat, black jeans, and a blank black face mask. I didn't know what the costume was supposed to be, but I literally yelled, "Go fuck yourself, you actually hurt me." He started running at me. And naturally,
funny,
I turned and
but
ran as fast as I could through the corn to lose him.
I don't know if that's the best
Yelled
thing you
back
want to
on
say
the
to someone who
accordion
clearly
and
is
quickly lost
thirsty.
him. After 5 minutes of running straight through the corn as opposed to following the maze of trails, I came to the edge of the maze and went to find an employee.
Huh.
I reported the actor to the employee, saying he used way too much force to the point that my wrist actually hurt. The employee said he wasn't sure who was wearing the specific costume I described, but that he'd look into it. I thanked him, and then I looked at my phone. I had a missed call from James. I called him back to ask where the 3 of them were. He said they tried finding me, then they gave up and went to the haunted trail in the woods.
Oh,
I said I'd meet them and hung up. I
yeah.
walked over to the start of the trail, where they had the Halloween lights blasting through a bunch of speakers
This
placed
ain't gonna
throughout.
end well for them. I can tell
I
you that
stepped
for
into the
free.
woods, feeling like I was the only one around besides my friends. I tried playing catch-up to my friends, when I stopped in my tracks after spotting him again, blocking the path. It was the guy in the coat and black mask. He didn't even give me time to react or say something. Right away, he started legit charging full speed at me. I turned back and ran into the woods, expecting
That's
to
why
lose
you should
him
carry
easily.
at least something like a
The
knife
time I called
in case
back, I'm
fuck
calling
shit
the
like
police.
that happens.
I wasn't actually, but I thought that might get this guy to just leave me alone. I ran deeper into the woods until I didn't hear him chasing me anymore. Then I sat down on the root of a tree to catch my breath. I had time to think, One of my thoughts was, did that guy really follow me from the corn maze to here?
It's possible.
I heard
I mean,
footsteps approaching.
you'd be amazed with what some
That exact
people would be
moment,
willing to
my
go
iPhone
through.
started ringing. I silenced my phone, but now the footsteps had stopped. I pushed myself up off the root quietly and leaned to the side to get a view past the tree. It looked clear. I started to run back towards the path of the attraction and immediately spotted him to my right. I said to myself, fuck it. I stopped and told
Yeah.
him I'm suing the place because of
When
it.
all else fails, you
But he
just
didn't
gotta
stop
say,
yelling at me.
fuck
He
it.
got to me and pushed me to the floor. I didn't expect it. I was once again in shock. I got back up as fast as I could before he could get on top of me and booked it. He chased me, but when I got back to the path towards the entrance of the attraction, he stopped and turned around.
Uh-huh.
I went straight to the little front office shack and asked for a manager. Some old
Oh,
man
really?
greeted me, and I told him about the guy who was chasing me and attacking me. The man said they didn't
Probably
have
could
any
have
actors
used
wearing
a
that
slightly
specific
different
attire.
photo than the one we
So
saw
he
from
called the
earlier,
police.
but whatever.
Eventually, I got my
It's
friends
not,
to meet me
not
where
my
I
place
was.
to judge.
I stayed to describe the
Sort
happening to
of.
the police when they showed up. I didn't have any marks to show them, but they still took a report and the place was closed for the night. We
Good.
all went home after that.
Yeah.
I haven't been to any
I can
haunted
imagine.
attractions ever since.
So, that's a good start. I'm gonna stop there for a minute, cause it is freaking hot in this room, and I need a drink. I can't sweat, but I will drip blood. Lots and lots of blood, if I don't get me a drink. So, I'll be right back, and we'll cut straight to the second story after that, okay? Alright, I'm back, folks. So, let's get on to story number 2. Hopefully, since we're about halfway through the video, that this shouldn't be much longer.
The year I
And the
turned
last one.
13, my friend invited me and 2 other friends to stay at his house on Halloween night. He had a fairly large house outside of our town, and it was the perfect place to go trick-or-treating. We decided it would be cool to go now to get sweets for a movie. So, fast forward.
Oh,
We were near the
really?
end of our trick-or-treating, and at one house...
And to be
no one
fair, I
answered
always
the
like
door.
having some sweets to go
She
with
was
whenever
tall
I'm
and
watching
skinny, with
something on
shoulder-length
Halloween.
hair.
It's
Her
just
face was
tradition for
disgusting. You
me.
could smell the odor of cigarettes. from
Monsters
outside.
love candy. Screw
She
you.
was quick to tell us that there were no more sweets left. However, she could go try to find something for
Rip
us.
off.
After a couple minutes of waiting, she comes back with an old brown paper bag with old-looking candy inside. Kindly deny the bag.
That
and tell
doesn't
her
sound
we're
very
getting picked up,
trustworthy.
So we better go. She
Yeah.
grabs one of my friends and says, "No, please." But my friend pulls away from her, and then she quickly shuts the door. We knocked on a few more houses. before hearing
That's
something
when
going
you
on in
call the
parking
police
lot
on
of the
that
housing
bitch.
complex. Someone exclaims, "They took my child, they took her, they took her." It was her, that woman. And that was my friend's parents' car that she was banging on. She was throwing herself at the car and hitting it with her fists. A couple of neighbors came out due to the commotion. They seemed to know who she was.
Huh.
They apologized to us and said it was a big misunderstanding. We quickly got into the car, and my friend's mom started driving us out. But we don't get far before the woman jumps in front of the car, claiming one of us was her child. The neighbors once again pulled her away. It was later that night.
Well, these sure
things
seem
truly
like helpful
began.
neighbors. Well, I'll
We
give
stayed
them
up
that.
late like any teenagers do at sleepovers, and we watched some scary movies. Out of nowhere,
Like what I'm
the light
about to
turned
be
on
doing
in the hall.
here very shortly.
we could see it under the closed door of the bedroom. We assumed it was my friend's parents who were
What
about
the
to come in
hell
to
is
tell us to
that?
get some sleep. However, no one came in. I decided to have a peep out the door. Nothing at all. My friends joined me to see why the lights suddenly turned on. Out of nowhere, my friend says, "It's her." And through a large window facing the backyard,
Well, shit.
we see that woman standing there, looking in. However, the second she saw us stare at her, she ran away. Disturbed by this, we came back inside. the
And
bedroom
that's
and
when
locked
you
the
know
door.
to stay the fuck away
We
from
were
her.
obviously quite shaken up by this. Who is she? What does she want? We sat around for an hour, nervous, on high alert. However, we eventually did somehow manage to fall asleep. That morning, my friend's mom told us the situation at the housing complex shook her up so much that she thought she had seen that woman standing over her bed in the middle of the night. My friends and I never even told her we saw that woman at the house that night, which led us to wonder, what if, just maybe what if, that woman actually was inside the house that night?
Yeah, one of life's great mysteries, I suppose. So we're gonna take another little break to talk about the video. So far, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Nothing more, nothing less than I would expect from Mr. Nightmare, but it's pretty good. So, we're gonna go ahead and proceed with story number 3, and I know this is for bone-chilling stories for Halloween, but you know what? I think we're gonna stop after that one, because I have so much work to do after this. So let's see.
Last year, Halloween was on a Wednesday, and because of that, I was home alone. My dad works nights, and my mom was staying with her sister because our parents weren't getting along at the time. My sister
Really?
was away at college, so it was just me, left to provide for the trick-or-treaters.
Yeah, my other me partakes in college too, don't you
by the end
know?
of the night. I don't know why, but my dad takes Halloween seriously. I didn't get home
Well,
from
I
classes
used
until
to,
around
but
6.
now I
So it was
mainly just
already
do
dark,
this,
and the kids were out in droves.
for the fun of it,
The
and
second I
watching
dropped my bag
Halloween
on the
movies.
couch, the bell rang, and that went on for some hours. I was getting homework done later on in the night when the trick-or-treaters had mostly gone home. It was sometime past 9, though. I remember that much, and the doorbell rang once more. It was the first time in over half an hour. I went to open the door with a near-empty bowl of Kit Kats, expecting
I
some
saw
kids,
something on my wall
but instead
there.
it was just this lone guy, maybe 35 years old. He waved at me with a neutral expression on his face. I didn't open the storm door. I kind of just
Yeah,
watched
good
him,
idea.
ready
Just
to shut the door on him.
Stay away from him.
He stopped waving, then reached for the handle to the storm door and pulled it open. At that moment, I slammed the door shut in his face and locked it. I texted my family group chat that some old guy just tried opening the door. My dad joked that if he does it again, go outside and teach him a lesson. I decided that was it with opening the door for the night. I went back up to my room to finish my homework.
Good.
Soon, I heard yelling coming from outside. I lost my patience and eventually got up to see what was going on. I slid open my window and looked down. And there was that man again down below, looking up at my window, shouting at me. He was mainly yelling that he needed help finding his son.
And that's when you call the goddamn police.
I texted my family again. My dad just said, ignore it, he'll go away. I left my room and
Don't
shut
text or
off the
call
lights so
them.
I
Call the
could go away.
fucking police.
Then I went to the basement, which had no windows. I hung out down there to do my work, and all was quiet for a while. Then, flick, the power went out. My initial thought, that man outside tinkered with the electric box outside of the house. I stayed in contact with my family the whole time. After a few minutes, I heard the floorboards creaking above my head. Someone, as if I couldn't guess who, was inside the house. My mom and
Well,
my sister all
shit.
texted me to call the cops.
This is why you should have called the
Stayed in my
cops.
basement, as it was the safest place at this point. The cops were en route. All I had to do
Oh,
was
never
wait.
mind.
The basement door then opened.
I
We
spoke
stepped
too
down
soon.
the stairs,
My
only
apologies.
halfway though. Even without power, a little bit of light from the upstairs poured into the basement, enough for me to see his legs. He was standing on the middle step of the staircase. I swear,
Yeah,
he just stood there for like 2 minutes.
that's not a good look for you,
I
buddy.
heard him mumbling stuff. I wouldn't even pretend I could understand any of it. After the longest, most painfully uncomfortable moment of my life, the man said into the basement, "I can see you." The whole time, his legs were actually
Yeah, you're fucked.
Was he actually looking at me that whole time? Still, I didn't move, nor did he. He continued to stand there until there was a bang at the front door. Then he walked up the stairs, shut the door, and I heard creaking above again. I waited 20 seconds before running upstairs to the front door. By that time, it seemed the man
Yeah, I
had
probably
left
would have
the
waited
house,
10 more,
as the cops
but
couldn't find
yeah,
me.
that's probably
Nobody
just
opened the
me.
help.
Or at least the
Stupidly,
other me
he left
would.
the back door unlocked, so he simply let himself in. As for the power, he messed with the electric box outside, as I predicted. I don't know if he did this on Halloween intentionally, or if it was just a coincidence, but something was wrong with that man. He didn't belong out in the streets.
Yeah, you think? well, that's where we're going to end it. If you want to check out the rest of the video, I'll put a link to that in the description down below. And I'll even put up an annotation to my last reaction, which was like, 4 days ago? But yeah, I do once again apologize for my absence. I was sick, and I needed to make a recovery from that. But now that I'm back and well, I'm ready to do at least 2 more reaction videos for today. Just for you lovely prey. I mean people. Yeah, that's what I meant, people. Yeah, well, anyway, that's about all the time we got. If you liked the video, go ahead, comment, like it, or subscribe. And as always, I'm the Gargantuan Werewolf, and take care.